What is up everyone, welcome back to another Gunpla review, and today I'm going to be taking a little bit of a journey through time, back 10 years to something I've always meant to take a look at. So hopefully in future I will get the time to do more of these older kits, ones that look so awesome, that are so awesome, that I've always meant to feature on the channel. And what we're starting with right here from all the way back in 2009, that is 10 years ago, is the Shin Musha Gundam. Of course, the Shin Musha Gundam is from Gundam Muso, the second one in particular that in the West would have been called Dynasty Warriors or Dynasty Warriors Gundam 2. And this particular kit right here is a bit of a variant, and this is the Sengoku no Jin version. Anyway, as usual, this video right here would not be possible without those absolutely awesome people over at Hobbyllink Japan. So if you want one of these bad boys of your own, then just check out that link down there in the description. Now let's get right into this. This isn't a new kit, so I did not do an unboxing video for this, so let's take a brief look around the box. The Shin Musha on there, the background, everything, it all looks pretty damn rad. On the side of the box, we get a solid idea of what comes in here. If you're curious, this costs around 8,000 yen or so. There is a whole lot in here. This is a bit of an expansion kit. It comes with this huge backdrop and everything for displaying the weapons. Looking so cool. Around the other side, it's all in Japanese as the older kits were, so we've got some information there on Gundam Muso 2, and an image here of the sort of things you'll be expecting to see in this kit. This does have some metallic finish on some parts, which the original one did not. And of course in here we get a bunch of weapons like its sword, Nichirin Maru. That's not all we get in here, we also get Denko Maru and Sanko Maru, and definitely one of the most interesting beam rifles I've ever seen, which is Tanegashima. So there is what it looks like out of the box, and all I can say is I am absolutely and utterly blown away. This is not what I expected from an older kit. Some older kits that are 10 or 10 plus years old do look a little bit on the awkward side, but this thing looks absolutely and utterly incredible. It is so cool. It has basically taken the standard Granddaddy Gundam, which is the RX-78-2, and added so much awesome samurai flair to it. This is a real awesome marriage of two different ideas. Well, I guess they're not really two different ideas per se, because the standard old school Gundam was somewhat based on samurai armor. As far as I remember when I was looking at the runners, a lot of this kit is based on the 1 year war version of the RX-78-2, which is kind of like an RX-78-2 1.5. And all in all, I love it. This thing really does marry some old school solid build with some crazy aesthetics on top of that. All of the colors do look really good. What we have on here is that typical Gundam pure white. The red on here has somewhat of a metallic infusion, so it does catch the light. The black in here is a high gloss, and that black as well as the red really does remind me of Japanese lacquerware, which is quite cool, quite old school. The hands as well as the joints, etc. are all made of that standard inner frame gray that we see all the time. But definitely the highlight of this kit right here is that over the top metallic coating gold. It is crazy. However, I will mention that this kit right here was not designed to be a kit with a metallic coating. This was added after. There is an original version which isn't metallic. I'll pop a picture right here. So that does mean there are a couple of messy nub marks that you can't really clean up around here, unless you get yourself a gold paint that matches this exactly. This is more of a silver with a clear yellow on top, in case you're trying to fix that. Although they were quite apparent to me when I was snipping them out, I'm actually finding it quite hard to find them right now, so I guess that is a good thing. It's not as bad as I thought it would be. However, I would say the worst aspect, and if you haven't noticed this by now, then I guess that's a good thing as well, but the gold parts on the sides of the heads there, those are just stickers, so they have to be stuck on like that or it would just be solid red. These could look a lot better, but at the same time, they could look a lot worse. But speaking of which, I did not use all the stickers. Preferably, I hate using stickers. I tend to avoid them, so I only use the ones that were so important, aka the ones right there on the side of the head, the ones for the eyes, as well as the ones for the head cameras, but besides that, I opted not to use them. In here, we also get a big sheet of decals. These are just your stickers style decals. No water slides in here. However, happily, we do get my favorite style of decal. That is the rub-on dry transfers. I have used two of these, both of which are on the shoulders, and they look great. These are in a metallic reflective gold, and the detail on them is great. They're pretty cool. We do have a bunch of other ones on there, some more kanji and some flames. Some are white, some are that metallic gold as well, and all in all, pretty damn awesome. I honestly did think a big bulky kit based on the RX-78 Granddaddy Gundam mixed with a samurai with plated gold parts would look awful. Honestly thought it would look awful when completed, and I have to say I am downright impressed by this. This is one eye-catching beauty of a master grade. As for a size comparison, there it is beside Gorilla Hands 3.0 as well as the origin version of the Master Grade RX-78-2. So as you can see right there, it really does just look like an RX-78 wearing samurai armor, which is so damn cool. Right there is a size comparison with 2 more Samurai Gundams, which of course is the high resolution Red Frame Astray, as well as over here the Master Grade Sengoku Astray. So moving right on into the accessories, and this is literally what takes this kit from absolutely awesome to godlike. This is an absolute display right here. This is a kit that is a set piece. An absolute set piece. Not only do we get that awesome looking Shin Musha Gundam itself, up front we've got a rack which can hold the Nichirin Maru as well as the Tanegashima, that's the katana and the gun. We get 2 different individual racks for in the back. These hold on to the Denko Maru as well as the Sanko Maru. So up in the front we do have 2 plaques for displaying these stickers. This one right here, I do know what it says. It says Sengoku no Jin. So basically, it's this particular version of the model kit. However, this one right here, I had absolutely no idea, so I had to run it through a translator. And essentially what it says is like true warrior or true samurai. And over here, these kanji read as Gandamu. So basically true samurai Gundam. However, I'm assuming these are meant to be kind of like a family name or a name because looking each one up in the dictionary, they don't make any sense. Because it literally says, pet bad nothing. So I assume it's meant to be like a family name. Just made up, so it reads Gundam. Lastly then in here, of course, is that awesome backdrop. Well, it's half awesome. Well, mainly awesome. On one side, we've got a Japanese phoenix. I think it's a Ho-Oh. And on the other side, we've got a Japanese pig dragon. Probably meant to look like a normal dragon, but with a pig snout. All in all, though, this does make for an absolutely incredible display. Looks awesome. So looking at the weapons now, and first up is the Rifle Tanegashima. Out of all the weapons in this box, I do feel this one is the poorest. Color accuracy wise, it's quite bad. You do have to use a lot of stickers for the gold. I didn't right here. And the way it slots into the hand is a little bit on the awkward side. So because of the design of the hands, this does slot in a little bit awkwardly. Try and get the finger in there. Again, the angle here is very awkward. Trying to get this into the hand is so difficult. And finally, once you do get it into the hand, it's held at this absolutely ridiculous angle. So there isn't much tilt to the hand to actually make up for this. That is about all you're gonna get, so it's always gonna be held at this kind of ridiculous angle. So for me, I think this weapon isn't the greatest. So on to the next ones. So next up in here then is the Nichiri Maru. This, of course, can be stored in here when not in use into this little adapter segment right here. This does have a full functioning scabbard. The sword can be drawn out like so. And oddly enough, the handle here does not have a tab in the side of it for holding, which is a very, very strange design. So this time around, you are just relying on the strength of the fingers to hold that in place, which honestly doesn't really work. Sure, it can hold it, but not very securely at all. So very, very odd handle design right here. Next up in here then we've got the Sanko Maru. This is pretty damn long. But once again, this is a kit with tabs in the hands, but there is no tab anywhere on the shaft of this. So once again here, you are relying on just the strength of the fingers themselves to hold this up. This is a two-handed weapon, so that might be a little bit better. Let's find out. Yeah, that is definitely not the worst. It would have been nice to have the option of those tabs for a more secure grip or for one-handed poses, but all in all, it's not too bad. Next up in here then is the Denko Maru, just as long as we saw with the last weapon. This time it is split into 3 different sections along its shaft. That's 2 brown, 1 red. And this time around, the brown sections do have a tab in the side, which is odd. So those long segments can attach into that tab in the palm of the hand, which does mean the Shin Musha right here can hold this in one hand with no issue whatsoever. So out of the close quarter weapons, this right here is the one that it does hold with the most secure grip. So when not in use, we do have a bunch of attachment points around here on the backpack. We've already seen that the katana can be stored in here when not in use. The rifle can pop in here, slot down into there. The glaive then attaches into the opposite side like so. And finally then by popping off the bottom of the spear, that slides down through the central adapter section right there. So it does make me very, very happy when a Gundam can store all of its equipment on its person all the time. So you don't have to put it back into the box for storage. Even though in this we do have the whole background thing and the racks. But that does mean if you do buy the standard version, it can still equip all of its equipment at once. That really is something that I love. So now moving on to the articulation, as usual from the head down, I'm very interested in this right here. It is an older kit, so how well is it going to hold up? So first up, we've got the head. There it is, looking all the way up, looking all the way down. So that's a standard ball joint. We do have side to side tilt there. Let's see if it can rotate all the way around. And yes, it can. As for the ab crunch, there it is all the way to the back, all the way to the front. So not as bad as I would expect. Usually older kits have nothing. There's side to side. That's essentially nothing. As for rotation, that is all we get before it's blocked by the armor. So it is worth noting that this kit does not have an opening cockpit. That is because it is based on a manga called Plamo Kyoshiro, which essentially was like the original Gundam build fighters. So this is meant to be a model kit, not an actual mecha with a pilot. At the shoulder, these huge shoulder guards can move up like so. They also have rotation, so they can spin all the way around. We have the usual tilting forward and back shoulder joint there. Full rotation of the arm at the shoulder. There is the arm all the way up. Not bad. Full spin at the upper arm. Right there is the bend at the elbow. Not bad. The wrist here is a combination of a ball joint and a hinge, which allows the hand to move like so. And these are those old school thumb, index finger, 3 fingers. Front skirting armor can move up like so. These are all individual segments, but you don't get much movement out of those. Side skirt has some basic up and down, basic forward and back rotation. We've got a double premium butt flap. In the waist, we've got a rocking forward and back joint that brings the legs, well, forward and back, believe it or not. Of course, as you can see there, this is the old school ball and socket, which isn't great. That does limit a lot of the outward movement usually. Get in there! So as we're kicking the leg out to the side, that is all we get. That is pretty pathetic. Out to the front, that kicks up quite a bit, about parallel to the ground. Kicking it all the way back and we get pretty much the same. A solid bend at the knee right here. There's another angle. Unlike a lot of modern kits, all this jazz on the side here, this thruster does not move, it's just stuck there. This armor here at the ankle moves ever so slightly. And at the ankle here, there it is all the way back, all the way to the front. That is really blocked there. And there is your side to side. So the ankle is a little bit limited. Not going to be getting a whole lot out of that. The toe here does have a bend downwards, which will look good in jumping poses, but we have no bend upwards for crouching poses. So all in all, the articulation on this guy right here isn't great, but it isn't the worst. Mainly limited at the waist, you can't really move the legs outwards. At the ankles, they don't pivot that much. And at the waist, you don't get much of a crunch or rotation. But besides that, for something quite old and quite bulky, it could be a whole lot worse. So that right there is it for the review, and I'm going to rate this as if it came out this year in 2019, and I would say this right here is your standard silver tier master grade Gundam. What I mean by silver tier, in case you don't know by now, is that this is exactly what I would expect from a master grade. Sure, a lot of the articulation does let it down a bit, but it does make up for that in accessories and its display presence. So literally it is making up for articulation with its looks. There really isn't anything that looks like this. It has that classic Gundam vibe and at the same time that awesome samurai aesthetic. It mixes them both together so nicely. We see a lot of samurai variants of the Astray, but not of the RX-78-2. So this mixes classic with something awesome, even though this design right here is classic. All in all, if you are a master grade collector, then this is one you have to have on your shelf. It's such an iconic Gundam, and at the same time, this box, the Sengoku no Jin box, makes it into an absolute set piece, an absolute display piece. Very, very awesome. It may only be silver tier when it comes to the Gundam itself, but this is a gold tier display. Anyway, as always, if you do want one of your own, there's a link down there in the description. You can get yours at Hobbyllink Japan. As always, thank you so much for watching. Hit that like button if you'd like to see more old school reviews, especially master grades. Make sure to come back for new Gunpla reviews, and as always, I'll see you next time.